17 things to do in Fairbanks, Alaska, and number one is free, so let me save you some money right away. If you're coming for the Northern Lights, you do not need to book a tour. Locals say it constantly. The sky is the same whether a guide drove you out or you drove yourself. What you actually need is 3 clear nights, a rental car, and to stop watching the wrong forecast. I'm running this list backwards, so the best of it comes first. Number 1, the Northern Lights. Fairbanks sits directly underneath the auroral oval, which is the ring of sky around the top of the world where the lights are strongest. The season runs from August the 21st to April the 21st. The local tourism board, Explore Fairbanks, says 3 nights puts you past a 90% chance as long as you stay up for all 3 of them. 2 or 3 miles past the city lights is far enough to get clear of them, and the best hours are midnight to 4. That's the easy part. Here's the mistake, and I'd have made it myself. People fly up here refreshing the aurora forecast, the number that tells you how active the lights are going to be. But the thing that decides your trip is cloud cover. A clear sky on a quiet night beats a big night you can't see through. So watch the weather instead. If it says clear, go out, even when the aurora numbers look poor. That one's free. Number 2 costs you an hour of driving, and it's worth every minute. 60 miles northeast of town, at the end of Chena Hot Springs Road, 2 gold mining brothers went looking for steam in 1905 and found the springs. The water comes out of the ground at 165 degrees, hot enough to cook you, so they mix it down to 106 and pour it into an outdoor lake ringed with boulders. That lake is the whole reason to drive out there. Sitting chest deep in hot water while the air freezes your hair is one of the better hours you'll spend in Alaska. You have to be 18 to get into it, so younger kids swim indoors instead. 5 separate travelers told me the same thing about the inside of that place, and I believe them. The pools in there are run down and the changing rooms are worse. Stay outside. And don't book a room out here because you've just put yourself 60 miles from everything else on this list. Drive out, soak, drive back. Watch for moose on the road. They're on it constantly. Before you make that drive back though, walk 50 more yards. Number 3 is a building made entirely of ice. A pair of champion carvers built the Aurora Ice Museum out of 1,000 tons of it, and it stays frozen all year, which is a small miracle in a town that gets up into the 70s in July. Inside there are sculptures, an ice chess set, jousting knights, and a bar made of ice that'll serve you an aplatini in a glass carved out of ice. The custom is you take the glass outside when you're done and smash it. A woman who went at Thanksgiving had a better idea. If you're there in winter, don't smash it. Leave it out on the porch and it keeps. Back in Fairbanks now, and number 4 is the one residents recommend first. It's the Museum of the North on the university campus about 5 miles from downtown, and when I went around asking, this came back more than anything else. The building alone is worth the drive up. It's all white curves and sharp angles standing on a ridge, and it was designed to look like slabs of ice drifting on water. Inside, the lobby has a 43-foot bowhead whale skeleton hanging over your head, and there's a case holding the biggest display of gold nuggets in the state. But the thing you go for is Blue Babe. She's a mummified steppe bison, 36,000 years old, pulled out of the frozen ground by gold miners in 1979. She still has her hide, which turned blue from a mineral in the silt, and you can see the claw marks and the tooth punctures where an Ice Age lion killed her. Then in 1984, the paleontologist who studied her cut some meat off her neck, made a stew with garlic, onions, carrots, and wine, and served it to 8 dinner guests. Nobody got sick. He said it smelled like beef with a touch of mushroom. His wife said it was worse than jerky. And while we're on the subject of what this trip costs, there are 2 links under this video. They're the 2 things I'd want in hand before booking anything. The guide I lean on for cutting trip costs, and the operators I'd actually use in Fairbanks. Worth a look if you're skipping that Aurora tour on my say-so, because the next one is what I'd spend the savings on, and it's the last thing you'd expect 400 miles from anywhere. Number 5 is Thai food, and I know exactly how that sounds. Fairbanks is a town of around 30,000 people, and it has more Thai restaurants per head than anywhere else in Alaska. It started in 1989, when a man called Charlie Bunpersert talked his way into turning a Chinese restaurant into a Thai one. His wife thought he'd lost his mind, because who eats Thai food at 40 below? Then it worked, and then everybody did it. Bonsai and lemongrass are the two that came up most when I asked around. Go once, and then go back, because you'll want to. Alaska's state sport is dog mushing, and number 6 is doing it yourself instead of watching someone else. In winter, a team of dogs pulls you out through the trees on a sled. I expected that ride to be rough and rattly. It's the opposite. It's quiet, and the only thing you can hear is the runners on the snow and the dogs breathing. In summer, the kennels stay open, and it turns into meeting the dogs, watching a cart run, and sitting in a pile of puppies, which will take up an afternoon on its own. Pause for adventure came up from a visitor and from locals both, and the most famous dog run in history started an hour from where you're standing. When diphtheria hit Nome in 1925, the antitoxin came by train as far as the town of Nenana, an hour down the road from Fairbanks, and then it stopped because that was the end of the rails. 20 drivers and about 150 dogs carried it the last 674 miles in 5.5 days. If your trip falls in late winter, number 7 is the reason to lock the dates in now. The World Ice Art Championships bring carvers in from everywhere to the fairgrounds on College Road, and in 2026 the park ran from the 16th of February straight through the end of March. 30 artists get 1 block of ice each and 48 hours to carve it. The team event hands 4 people 9 blocks and gives them most of a week. But the choice that matters is when you show up. Go early and you watch the carving happen. Chainsaws and chisels and half-finished animals everywhere. Go in mid-March and the work is finished. So instead you get whole sculptures lit from underneath in the dark. There's also a 4-acre children's park built entirely of ice, with slides and a maze cut into it, and I went down the slide. Book number 8 before you get on the plane, because it sells out. A family outside town keeps a small reindeer herd and takes you walking with them through the birch forest at Running Reindeer Ranch, not looking at them over a fence. Walking among them for about 2.5 hours, and then back to the house for homemade cookies. It runs all year in whatever the weather is doing. And the people who rave hardest about it are the ones who never plan to care about reindeer at all. On the 21st of June, the Alaska Gold Panners start a baseball game at 10 at night and finish the whole thing without turning on a single light. That's number 9. It happens at Groudon Memorial Park on the solstice. Fairbanks sits only 160 miles south of the Arctic Circle, so the sun is going down in the north when the first pitch is thrown and coming back up in the north when the game ends 3 hours later. They've been doing some version of this since 1906, and both Tom Seaver and Dave Winfield played in it before they reached the major leagues. The same day, downtown shuts for the Midnight Sun Festival, 12 free hours of street fare from noon until midnight. If you're only getting to Fairbanks once and the aurora isn't the point for you, be there that day. Number 10 I walked into expecting nothing. The Fountainhead Antique Auto Museum has over 125 cars from before the Second World War, and nearly all of them still run. But go and find the 1905 Sheldon. A young man called Bobby Sheldon built the first automobile in Alaska that year, down in Skagway, and he had never seen a car in his life. He used buggy wheels, a marine engine, some sheet tin, and 2 bar stools for the seats. It did 15 miles an hour. He built it to impress a girl. The museum also holds around 1,000 pieces of vintage clothing, rotated every few months, which sounds like filler and turns out to be the better half of the visit. One practical note, because this changed recently, they moved. They're on Airport Way now, so an older guide will send you to the wrong side of town. Number 11 is the 2 tours you'll be sold hardest, so let me save you the coin flip. Gold Dredge 8 is 2 hours with a narrow gauge train ride, a stop at the pipeline, and gold panning where you're guaranteed to find some because they put it in the bag for you. The Riverboat Discovery is 3 hours on a sternwheeler that's been run by the same family since 1950, and it stops at Susan Butcher's kennel. She won the Iditarod 4 times, and at Chena Indian Village. Take the boat. There's more to see on it, and the stop at the Athabascan Village earns the ticket on its own. The dredge is coaches, crowds, and a long stretch of gift shop, and someone who used to work there was a good deal harsher about it than I'm being. Neither one is a scam. They're polished products, and that's what you're buying. Number 12 gets you eye to eye with something that looks like it should have gone extinct with the mammoths. Muskoxen. The large animal research station keeps them out on the university's land along with reindeer and wood bison, and runs tours in summer at 10, noon, and 2. The access road is torn up for construction through this summer, so leave yourself extra time. Their underwool is called kiviot. It's warmer than sheep's wool, and it's what the gift shop is really there for. Tours run about an hour and they're entirely outside, so layer up. And a local pointed out that you can often see the animals from the fence line without paying anything, which is either a tip or a mild betrayal of the university, depending on how you look at it. If this has saved you an afternoon of research, a like genuinely helps. Now remember number 1, the Northern Lights. Number 13 is where you go to see them. Murphy Dome is the highest ground near Fairbanks, about 30 minutes out, free, with nothing blocking the horizon in any direction. In summer, you can walk up through wildflowers with mountains north and south of you. 2 things to know before you commit. The road has sharp turns and real elevation, so on ice, this is the one place where 4-wheel drive stops being optional. And Cleary Summit, out the other road past Fox, is the alternative if the dome is clouded over. On your way, at milepost 8 on the Steese Highway, pull into the Trans-Alaska Pipeline viewpoint, where you can walk up and put your hand on 800 miles of steel running from the Arctic Ocean down to Valdez. They've got one of the pigs on display, which is the machine they send through the inside of the pipe to scrape it clean. Number 14 is where Fairbanks parked its own history, and walking in is free. The steamship Nenana worked these rivers from 1933 to 1954. And it now sits up on wooden blocks on dry land in the middle of Pioneer Park, 44 acres of it, next to a gold rush street of 35 real buildings hauled in from around the region. You can step into the railcar President Harding rode through Alaska in 1923. Come in the evening, though, because that's when the Alaska Salmon Bake fires up, mid-May to mid-September, 5 until 9, all you can eat, fire-grilled salmon plus halibut, cod, and prime rib. Half the park shuts in winter, so treat this as a summer entry. Number 15 is 2 hikes, both up the same road as the hot springs, so pair one with your soak, and you've built yourself a full day. Granite Tour starts at mile 39 and climbs onto open tundra scattered with granite spires up to 100 feet tall. Those pushed up as molten rock 70 to 90 million years ago, cooled underground, and the landscape eroded away around them. The full loop runs 15 miles, so budget 6 to 10 hours and don't start it at 2 in the afternoon. Angel Rocks is the sane version, 3.5 miles round trip, and if you're feeling strong, there's an 8-mile route through the hills that finishes at the hot springs door, which is a very good way to earn a soak. Number 16 was a working dairy farm for 60 years. The birds have it now. Thousands of sandhill cranes drop into a set of open fields 2 miles from downtown Fairbanks every August, and it costs nothing to walk in and watch them. The place is called Creamer's Field. It kept the town in milk until 1965, and the old white barn is still standing. It's a migratory bird refuge now, with 25 miles of trail, groomed through the winter for skiing and mushing. On the university campus, there's a companion piece to it, the Georgian Botanical Garden, $5, June through Labor Day. The cabbages there are absurd because they grow under 19 to almost 23 hours of daylight. But here's what I didn't know. The entire Alaska peony industry came out of research done at that garden, because a researcher there worked out that Alaskan peonies bloom in July and August when the crop everywhere else in the world has been finished for weeks. There are now 136 peony farms in this state, and they exist because of a plot of ground in Fairbanks, which leaves number 17 13 miles out in a town where the street lights are candy canes all year round. In 1952, a couple called Con and Nellie Miller, who'd arrived in Alaska 3 years earlier with $1.40 between them, opened a trading post in North Pole. Con had been playing Santa for the local kids, so airmen from the 2 nearby bases started asking him to sign postcards home. That turned into the Letter from Santa, which has been going ever since, and the Santa Claus house was the town's actual post office into the 70s. There's a 42-foot Santa outside and reindeer next door. And my favorite fact about this entire state, there's a man sitting on the North Pole City Council who legally changed his name to Santa Claus. He won the seat on 58 write-in votes and then got re-elected. Nobody told me this before I flew up. Fairbanks has no glaciers. It has no mountains at the edge of town either, and residents spend a good part of every summer explaining that to disappointed visitors. It's flat, it's spread out, you need a car, and it can sit at 20 below for a month at a stretch. What it has instead is the clearest run at the aurora anywhere in North America, a 36,000-year-old bison somebody once ate, a ball game played at midnight with the lights off, and a councilman named Santa Claus. 3 nights, a rental car, and one clear sky is all it takes. Book the reindeer walk now, keep an eye on the weather, and when it goes clear, get yourself up the dome.